Let me tell you about two of the games I picked up recently. One, I play to relax, aiming my character at all types of monsters while I traverse varied ecosystems and landscapes. The other is a more puzzling shooter, one that involves finding the best route and replaying areas to complete my goals as efficiently as possible. The games, you ask? Returnal and Pokemon Snap. In that order. Despite the shades of psychological warfare at the core of the fast-paced shooter Returnal, Housemarque's latest game is my most recent stress-free outlet. Yes, the game will confound and kill you as you work to fend off hordes of enemies while preserving enough health to get you to the next room. But its quiet campaign, paired with simplistic yet fine-tuned controls, mean that each setback doesn't feel like a wasted effort. Instead, I find myself pushing Celine faster and faster through Atropos' diverse biomes until I reach a new weapon, some ether or obols, or a much-needed health pack. And if I die and end up watching Helios get shot out of the sky and crash land for the 12th time, so what? I'll just start all over again. New Pokemon Snap, on the other hand, has unleashed my neuroses. A step up from the 1999 original in terms of the amount of content offered, the Pokemon Company's latest drop can feel more like summer school than summer vacation. Snap's updated systems allow me to not only take photos of more than 200 Pokemon, more than triple the amount in the first entry, but also to take them in different poses and locations, each of which count towards filling out the photo decks, a ledger of all the Pokemon you've caught. Until now, I've played haphazardly, pointing my camera at anything that moves and hoping it's the 3-star Magikarp photo I need or the 2-star Meganium shot I missed. That said, I'm tempted to brush up on my Excel skills and start mapping out my plan of approach in an effort to more efficiently spend my time exploring the Lintel region. New Pokemon Snap is a fun game. Save for the frame rate hiccups, Wailord's lard ass obliterates otherwise smooth sailing. NPS is a generally enjoyable experience. Having to level up areas, and not your character, is an intriguing take on a common Pokemon system, creating what amounts to a living, breathing I Spy book. But if I'm being honest, there's only one thing that irks me about the game: the music. New Pokemon Snap strikes a delicate balance between adventure and amusement. As an on-rail shooter, part of the fun comes from having full 360-degree control to peer around the game's environments. It's easy to sit back as a spectator without snapping photos while taking in the surroundings. But when you're ready to lock in and fill out the photo decks, there are enough photo ops with short windows to make the game feel like a real safari. These are wild Pokemon, so it's no surprise if one lands inconveniently out of frame as you try to catch the perfect moment. You would think that the game's soundtrack would play up the inherent sense of wilderness. The Lintel region is seemingly untouched by human intervention, but the music of New Pokemon Snap feels far too neatly orchestrated to fit the game's feral scenery. Don't get me wrong, New Pokemon Snap composer Hiroki Hashimoto crafted some easy listening on the game's soundtrack. Shiver Snowfields is by far one of my favorite tracks. An incredibly layered piece, I enjoy Shiver Snowfields both for its ability to transition between instrumentals, as well as for it reminding me of one of my favorite video game songs of all time, Yasunori Mitsuda's Quarter of Time from Chrono Trigger. Generally speaking, I tip my cap to Hashimoto's nighttime compositions. Just as the usually herding Buffalont sleep the night away, the evening tracks for stages like Florio Nature Park or Funja Jungle use more subtle instrumentation, like piano, bass, and hand drums, to accent, not overpower, the level aesthetics. Still, the daytime sections of New Pokemon Snap's OST rely so heavily on orchestration that many of the soundtrack's bright spots are devoured by somewhat repetitive string sections. While the Sweltering Sands night track makes ample use of sitar to project a distinctly Middle Eastern sound, its morning counterpart drowns out its pointed rhythms with flowing string sections that distract from the level's atmosphere. By contrast, the 1999 Pokemon Snap soundtrack tended towards a healthy dose of genre experimentation. Composed by Ikuko Momori, the OST appears to be her final video game score credit. In a way, it can be considered her magnum opus, as the soundtrack taps into mood shifts that further color one of Pokemon's earliest attempts at crafting a 3D world. Right off the bat, old Pokemon Snap's first level theme, Beach, dives headfirst into the reggae stereotypes often imprinted on Sandy Shore levels. A medley of instruments, woodwind, synth, horns, steel drums, and bass, bounce along to a distinct 2/4 time signature that so frequently features in the genre. But after a breezy seaside intro, Memori throws players into the dark with her tunnel track. Haunting synthworth ricochets around the tunnel walls until it crashes midway through the track, indicative of all the electric Pokemon that call the tunnel home. Valley is easily my favorite track of the bunch, as it's something of a two-for-one. The intro is clearly influenced by the whistle of the Wild Wild West, which is further accentuated by the guitar work. Then the song breaks out some slick saxophone with a piano accompaniment that pays homage to early jazz before looping back to its western roots. The river theme sounds like a long-lost Crash Bandicoot track, heavily reliant on hand drums, woodwinds, and even a rain stick. And the volcano track complements the level's surging lava with gurgling bass and kick drums while peppering in some marimba rhythms that add a sense of tension to the chorus. These tracks don't even touch on the other ways Memori experiments on the OST. The options menu uses a distinct hip-hop breakbeat to remix the main theme. Then there's the gallery music, which is a flirty bossa nova piece, complete with the occasional grunt sound effect. Even Professor Oak's lab theme takes into account the setting, stripping back the instrumental almost as if to not interrupt the professor while he works and studies. Arguably, Memori's soundtrack had the benefit of the time period. Pokemon Snap dropped in 1999. At that point, Nintendo had cemented the sound for so many of its series, which arguably helped influence those tasked with composing for their projects. The cave theme, for example, harkens back to the ethereal and spacious Great Fairy theme, its reverb effect simulating the hollow cavern walls. In comparing both the old and new soundtracks, I don't want to sound like some nostalgia freak. Nor do I want to support the idea that more diverse soundtracks are always better. Plenty of games lean into a specific sound for their entirety, whether it's the folksy, punk rock backdrop of Life is Strange, or the symphonic melodies of Octopath Traveler. Hashimoto's score is perfectly fine music. It's just not the most fitting Pokemon Snap music. Traditional Pokemon RPGs plop the player in a region themed around a real-life area. Think Pokemon Black and White's Unova being New York City, or Pokemon Gold and Silver's Johto being Kyoto. Stylistically, the music follows suit, taking cues from Unova's metropolitan skylines or Johto's rustic scenery to inform the soundtrack. The Ecruteak City theme works because the flowing melody supports the town's role in local mythology about legendary Pokemon. While New Pokemon Snap is anything but traditional, its orchestrated music is unfit for a tropical region with diverse biomes teeming with wildlife. In other words, the music is cohesive to a fault, leaving much to be desired, even if the gameplay is a stellar upgrade to its 22-year-old prequel. If you've made it this far, thanks! If you like what you heard and saw, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and feel free to comment on what you might like to see next. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.